What's up, everyone? It's NFL Week 14, and this is the game plan where we take a look at all the DFS plays, the best bets for NFL Week 14. We're looking at the main slate. And with me to break it down is top 10 ranked DFS player in the world, professional sports bettor from the Sharp app, Statsational, John Alessio. What's going on, my man?
Not a whole lot, brother. What's up with you, man?
I'm telling you, I'm eating well after last week's big play on Arizona that you gave out. You said, hey, don't even take the +5. Like, take Arizona money line plus 270. I'm like, really? And he said, you know what? Even lay 3 points on Arizona, which I never do. Lay 3 points on a +5. He said, don't worry about it. Arizona's going to kick some ass. And they did. So apparently we can make money just betting on the Steelers not being very good.
We said that. One thing I want to get out, because I did, I never look at the comments. I rarely do I go back and look at the video and jump on the comments. And I happened to do it last week. And someone was asking for an apology from me when Philly beat San Francisco. So you're not going to be getting that apology this week. San Francisco didn't just beat Philly. Like, San Francisco bitch slapped.
No.
Both in the score and physically. Like, they slapped the shit out of Philadelphia. Like, they manhandled them. Deebo Samuel looked like a man playing against boys when he was just stiff-arming guys, throwing them down to the ground. I mean, the Eagles, to quote from the great Denny Green, the Eagles are who we thought they are, or who we thought they were.
John,
they are not the team that everyone thought they were at 10-1. They're not even as good as a 10-2 team. This is not the best team in the NFL. They're not the best team in the NFC. And this is going to be a very difficult January for Eagles fans.
All right. All I'm going to tell you right now is I'm known as a friend of Ben Franklin. And at this point, that's gone. You just took that away from me without my knowledge, without my consent.
Sorry.
I love the people of Philadelphia. I love the Eagles. So John's opinions are his own.
I actually have a lot of friends in Philadelphia, so it's a lot of fun for me to just dump on the. We haven't had a lot of opportunity to be able to dump. They keep winning these games that they're not supposed to win. They finally get smacked in the face, and now hopefully Dallas can do the same to them this week and really humble them and shut them up.
Oh boy. Well, that was an unexpected start to this one. And I'm sure you guys will have some strong takes in the comment section. Please direct them directly at John. Make sure that we differentiate between those.
Remember the old days, it used to be a P.O. box. Like, just send them to the P.O. box.
Send them to P.O. box, whatever that box is. Send it directly.
Don't send it directly to my DMs.
Because my friend of Ben's status is in trouble here. We bleed green together, Jets and Eagles. Don't take that away from me. All right, but we've got another big slate on the docket. A lot of low scoring games, a lot of low totals, a couple of interesting ones. And I'm ready to cash some more bets last week. Last week I gave out my big bet was the over on the Eagles 49ers game. I like betting overs on those kind of games with two potent offenses. And interestingly, John, in the Sharp app Discord, I was able to actually let everybody know to take a live play on the over. After the first quarter started a little slow, which I was expecting. The total went down to 40. I hit it again at 38.5. I hit it at 43. Had the pregame at 48. Everything cashed, swimming in cash. It was awesome. We're going to get that going again this week. We got some DFS and bets, and let's just jump right into it and take a look at this week 14 slate. We look at the main slate. So we're looking at the Sunday games, the 1 o'clock and the 4 o'clock games as the primary for this breakdown. And right off the bat, we've got the Bucs at the Falcons. Bucs are coming in as 1.5 point road underdogs to the Falcons. Really interesting. Just generally that the Bucs are underdogs in that game is interesting for me. Falcons back to Des Ridder at the QB position. Nothing really going on the Bucs team to really talk about. Big game for Mike Evans last week. How do you see this one going down? I think it's interesting that the Bucs are underdogs here.
You really think the Bucs should be favored on the road?
Yeah, against the Falcons. It's the Falcons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's basically what they're saying is right now, I tell you home field advantage in the NFL, it's sub 2. I graded it at like 1.75. They're basically putting these teams at equal footing on a neutral. I think that's about right. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see Tampa being all that much better than Atlanta. Now, with that said, we do have sharp money coming in on the Tampa side of this game, but the square money is on Tampa as well. So both the sharps and the squares agree that Tampa is the play. I don't agree with either side of it. I mean, I can't really get on board with either Tampa or Atlanta here. I just don't like the game. 39.5 on the total, maybe a little bit on the under, but if I had to lean one way, I would take Atlanta. I'd take the home team here, and I would take the only bet that I like the most is the under on this game. But quite frankly, it's just not a game that I'm feeling real comfortable betting. I don't like the spot. I would take, it's one of those nice teasers where you could tease it up or take the alt line on Tampa and get it up over the 7. You take that 6-point teaser and get it over the 7, get the 7.5, the old Wong teaser plays. I don't mind that, but I don't like anything. I don't like any alt lines here. I think this is a tight game. I can't see this game being a blowout one side or the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a strength on kind of strength matchup here. I do like the Bucks side of it a little bit. Bucks are really good against the run this year, and Falcons. As soon as you take that run away from them, they haven't just been able to do a whole lot on the season. So I just lean that way from a just matchup perspective. I do love the idea of adding those points to the Bucks because I don't really see Falcons blowing teams out by 7 or 9 points. So you're even a 6.5 point teaser, you are up to 8, which is sort of the magic number in a game like this, low total game. So I don't mind that at all. As far as DFS stuff, I mean, last week you had the big week from Mike Evans, and that's in play here again. I don't think it's a great spot, but certainly in play. But I think more interesting is actually on the Falcons side. Drake London and even Kyle Pitts are so cheap at this point, and now you're going up against a Bucks team that really funnels away from the run to the pass. So I do think there's a little bit of interest for me in London, more so than Pitts. Probably a little Drake London at 4,600 or super cheap on DraftKings, so to speak, just as a starting wide receiver WR1 that's under 5K. Like, that's always interesting. I don't care how bad your QB is. So I do have a little interest in him. Probably a week to stay off of Rachaad White, though. Rachaad White has kind of floated up in price beyond my comfort zone. So I'm probably going to stay away from him. I don't know. Maybe a little Bijan as well. Maybe a little Bijan action from the Falcons. You can't ignore 39.5 point total games in DFS this week when 9 out of 11 games are that. So you can't just ignore them. All right, John, let's move on to game number 2 on the main slate. Lions at the Bears. The Bears are at home in this one, and they're 3.5 point home favorites. This total set at 43.5, and it looks like one of the better games for DFS purposes at very least. It looks like both offenses have some life. But how do you see this one going down from a betting point of view? Do you think the Bears can keep the winning ways going here? They've looked pretty good as of late.
I mean, you never know I never know what to get with Chicago, because I think they've got the biggest, because of the quarterback. They've got the lowest floor and the highest ceiling with that quarterback. When he goes off, he's got the highest standard deviation basically of any quarterback in the league. I think he's potential for an 8, and he's got the potential for a 40. So I think he's just unlike anyone else. And because of that, the team really has the potential to win just about any game that they play in. But the overall team itself is this is just a really bad team. My lean would be taking the points. I would take the 3. If I can get the 3.5, even better. I do like this game to the over. The game looks a little light to me on the total, 43.5.
Yes.
You're agreeing with that one?
That's what I'm looking at. The over is the thing that's popping for me. More so than taking a stab at the 3.5, which, I could easily see the line. I wouldn't even tease this up because I could see the Lions winning this game by 20. Like, that could happen.
Oh, yeah,
too.
Absolutely. But I think the Bears will be able to score. The Lions defense has not been that strong here. So I can't see how both teams don't get into the 20s and push this one over. So I do like the over as a bet in this game.
Yeah, and I mean that works for DFS purposes as well. When a game's playing to the over, that means hopefully players are outproducing some of their predictions. So on DFS/fantasy this week from these two teams, I think a lot of goodness can be had. Bear side of I have a sneaky play on the Bears, but I think the obvious is Fields, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. That trio really good. Lions aren't special versus the pass, or don't have any special defensive abilities, especially outside of the dome, that I'm worried about. The sneaky play I've got from this game is Roschon Johnson. Roschon really kind of took the lead back role for the Bears last week and looked good doing it. And I think lead back for the Bears is a good spot. Khalil Herbert just did not get a ton of work. Really came in as the secondary play. So I like Roschon a little bit as a alternative to whoever else is exciting in DFS at running back. Super cheap, under 5K. There's not that many players like that on DraftKings this week. And the Lion side is the Lion side. I mean, you have the usual suspects. Amon-Ra is fine here. Both running backs are certainly in play. David Montgomery, revenge narrative. Don't know if that means anything, but it's there. A little revenge for paying me for all those years. I'm gonna avenge that money I made from you. And then maybe Jameson Williams as an outside or Sam Laporta. All the Lions pieces I think are interesting here. This is one of the games I think to target, and I love that you mentioned the going to the over, because that's how the game does do good things for DFS purposes. So definitely a game to focus on in NFL Week 14. Before we get to the next game, John, I wanted to just let everybody know just an awesome new feature that we have going on here on the Proptimizer tool at Sharp App. And if you're not signed up at Sharp App, I don't know what you're waiting for. We have promo code DFSA20 that gets you 20% off. It's $49.99. It takes down to $39. And this is the prime tool, this Proptimizer tool that really helps you make sharper prop bet decisions. We've been crushing. I've been using it for NBA every night, and I don't know anything about NBA. I know very little. I don't watch the games during NFL season, and I was just printing cash. It's crazy. Mutt has been giving picks out from the Proptimizer every day on Twitter. I think he's 13-2 over the last 15 days. Those are tracked. I mean, these bets are really killing it. And here's the new feature that we just added into the Proptimizer is the last 10, last 15, little data, recent history, and you can kind of see how often a player is hitting a particular prop. So, hey, do I want to hit this? Well, it's only hitting 30% of the time. Maybe I don't want to go for that one. So a really nice little tool. And it's just a start over at Sharp App. We have so many more plans for the Proptimizer tool, adding more and more features to make your prop betting decisions easy. We've got members already telling us they're getting limited at sportsbooks. It's fucking awesome. If you want to be an advantage better, make sure you check out Sharp App and get signed up. You get John's picks. Every play that he does, he's given out over in the Sharp App. You were up, I think, 32 units last month. I saw your tracker. So
we were up. The entire Sharp App team was up over 100 units, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think I was up like 16 or 17 units. But we've never. I mean, that was our best month, and that's following our two prior best months. So it's really, things are, we've trimmed the fat. We've got just a core group of guys now, and I think probably the best in the industry. But I hate focusing on the tout stuff. Like, okay, we're good at that, but ultimately what we're trying to build with the app is we want people to be able to do this on their own. And I think that's the tools that we're putting in your hand. And when you're in our Discord, like, I can't encourage people more. Those of you watching this who are part of the Sharp App Discord, and those of you who are going to be joining, like, tell us like what it is that you're doing, because collectively, I think we all get smarter by it. I always equate it to the UFC. It's like everyone had their own disciplines. The UFC came along, and now everyone knows, all right, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, and like there's a combination that's going to be the most dominant, and guys who are doing Aikido are going to get their ass kicked. Like, so the Aikido guys, that's you sitting in your basement by yourself figuring this stuff out. You need to like put all your information, good and bad, out there in our Discord. We do the same, and then we can all pick the best stuff, and that's what we want. We'll all benefit from that. That's why I love Discord. Sorry, I didn't want to go off.
You kind of have to be like a Gen Xer from Brooklyn to even know what Aikido is, because I know you don't even say it, because I know where you got it from.
Your boy Steven Seagal.
Yes, our local Brooklyn celebrity, Steven Seagal. and his Aikido jitsu skills that only translated on screen. Unfortunately, if you ever tried that in a real fight, you took a beating. It did not help, or at least it didn't help me. I took a few beatings trying to use that stuff I learned from Steven Seagal. As it turns out, redirecting somebody's strengths on one shot doesn't really help with the follow-up blow at all. So
No.
Learned it the hard way back in the day on the mean streets of Brooklyn. Let's keep going here, John, though. And yeah, again, beautiful thing about that the Sharp app is the community, the Discord, a lot of that where people are sharing ideas and coming up with stuff together. And it's just a great place to be. So make sure you check it out. And the tools continue to level up. They're already beyond other apps out there. We already have the best actual model for these props in existence. And it's coming out 100. These are tracked units. So make sure you check it out if you bet on sports at all. All right. Next up, the Colts at the Bengals, the battle of the backup quarterbacks, kind of. I don't know. Minshew at this point is kind of not a backup quarterback, but he is. Bengals looked really good with Browning on Monday night. That dude can sling it. If the Jets had this version of Browning on their team, they'd be 10-1 right now. They'd be 11-3. Get Browning on the Jets. But Bengals look good last week. Bengals are +1 in this game. They are at home. Again, taking on a Colts team that has been looking pretty good with Gardner Minshew. Michael Pittman turning into a stud WR1, especially in the absence of Jonathan Taylor. And on that note, last week's chalk play of Moss is still very cheap. Didn't do much last week and probably will be much lower owned for no good reason other than the results didn't really fit the opportunity. So how do you see this one going down? Bengals +1.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I saw from Browning. I thought the entire offense looked pretty good on Monday night. It was killer for a lot of people in survivor pools. I know that, and a buddy of mine took his down because of that game. So that was a tough game.
A lot of survivor pools ended last week.
Monday night basically put a lot of people to sleep. So my buddy hit his. I've got in mine. I'm down to 15 left. We started with like 8,000. It's double picks. I just didn't have Jacksonville only out of pure luck because I had taken them a few weeks prior. So you got to get lucky with these things. But yeah, I think I like Cincinnati coming into this game. The line has kind of moved in Cincinnati's favor, yet the public is on the Colts here. So I think the public and the public money have not able to move. They weren't able to move this game to the 3, and conversely, it actually moved it down to 1.5, 1. So that signals to me here that the Bengals are live. And so I like the Bengals side, and I think the over is in play as well. I think this is another one of those games. I think this is one of my favorite games for the weekend in DFS, just because you got two quarterbacks at the right price, and I don't like those high-priced quarterbacks this week. I don't like any of the matchups. So I think this is the sweet spot, that mid $5,000 range for quarterbacks. I like this game to go over. I like just about every piece. I like the running backs in this game. I like the wide receivers. I like tight ends in this game. You got a cheap tight end with Cincinnati here, 2,800. I like that play. So I think this is one of the games you can load up on. Give me the over. Give me Cincinnati. That's my bets for this one.
I love everything you just said. I agree. I think the running backs look great. Moss and Mixon, both very much in play. I don't know. Even I don't know that the Bengals can support like multiple wide receivers having a good game with Browning at the helm, but we saw last week Jamar Chase is able to have a ceiling game with this quarterback. So that's cool.
You could put Chase in there with the tight end at 2,800, and all he's got at 2,800, he gets 3 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown in there. Like, that's fine. Like, we'll take it. And the Chase.
You don't even need the touchdown at 2,800. 4 receptions, 40 yards is okay. I got an 8. Doing it. Yeah, he's been I love it. Listen, I picked up Tanner Hudson. I love the QB turn tight end that starts working. I picked him up in every dynasty league I was in like 3 weeks ago, and thank goodness, because they're all double tight end leagues, and I didn't have a tight end, and like it's working out very nicely, even with the backups in place. I really like this game as well, and I like what you just said. So I can't wait to explore that with you when we get to the Boner Alert game later on with the Bills and the Chiefs. But like, it's an entire slate of that one game versus the whole rest of the slate. That's how I kind of see this slate going down. And you really want to be able to find, there's such a high likelihood of that, Chiefs and Bills game, just like Chiefs game have not been playing to the over at all. So there's such a reasonable likelihood of that game kind of not going a certain way. And if it doesn't, you got to find one of these weird 42, 43 point total games to stack up. And this one is just as good as anything. Cheap pieces galore. Michael Pittman, 17 targets last week as well on the Colts. So 16 targets, like he was targeted galore. Minshew's okay. A lot of goodness to be had in this game. I really like that you mentioned that. All right, moving on. We've got the worst game on the entire slate, the Jaguars at the Browns. And it's weird that it's so terrible because this is an 8-4 Jaguars, 7-5 Browns, but this game has a 30.5 point total. John, when I don't know, I was going to look for this game the other day. It wasn't quite live yet. I guess they weren't sure that Lawrence wasn't going to play. And I was trying to bet it I was trying to grab some unders on it before. And now it's 30. Oh, can you bet under 30 in a game?
I think there's some weather potential too. I think they're expecting weather.
I'm not going to worry about weather on Wednesday.
I can't worry about it today, but I think I heard that. I mean, 30.5 is just ridiculous. I did like the under in the Jet game last week, and that was pretty low as well. And that one, I had more confidence in that under than I do in this one. Although you're in a similar situation here with Cleveland, I thought Flacco looked pretty good. I don't know if you watched that game.
I watched it. And
see, the problem you have, here's the difference between the Jets and Cleveland. Two really good defenses, right? You could put them, they're pretty much on par with each other. The Cleveland offensive line is maybe the best in the league. They just haven't had any quarterback play. The Jets offensive line is maybe the worst in the league. So I had people's like, oh, well, if we had Flacco, he'd suck. I'm like, yes, he would. Jet fans, like, yes, he would, because he can't move. He sat in the pocket all game long in that game. Now, they couldn't put enough points up on the board, and the Rams were able to beat them. And that was one of the worst games their defense has played. So I don't necessarily like this game to the under. Even at 33, I don't like this game to the under, weather aside. 30, I do like Cleveland to win this game, though. I think Lawrence is a big part of that. I think they're hurt more here. I don't love Beathard. I think they're hurt more with the loss of Lawrence. And like I said, I with that offensive line for Cleveland, I think they're going to be able to move the ball. I like Ford in this game, even at that low total. But I think Cleveland moves the ball. I think they cover this line. And it's one of those things, again, I hate to bring up Survivor, but Wednesday's my day. I do Survivor videos, so it's on my mind. And it's like, you start looking ahead at Survivor pools like 3-4 weeks down the road, and you just never know what's going to happen. Trevor Lawrence, you're saving them. Here it is, and now they're an underdog. Like, it happens with all of these teams so it's really hard to look that far ahead in the NFL. And here you have it, Cleveland with no quarterback against Jacksonville with no quarterback.
You might have been hoping for this game. So are you laying 3 and grabbing?
I'm going to lay the 3. Yeah, I like Cleveland here. I laid the 3 points.
Yeah. I like it too. I think Cleveland needs the quarterback less than the Jaguars do.
Yes.
And that's really what it comes to. Cleveland is just, they win on defense. They win running the football. They're going to stop the run. They're going to limit your passing. And you put a backup in there, a Beathard in there against Cleveland. And to me, Cleveland defense is the number one defense on the slate. That is the one you want to target. So it all comes together.
And you also have no Kirk.
Yeah, no Kirk. I don't think it matters. Like, that part doesn't matter as much to me as just like
doesn't nearly matter as much, but
yeah,
ain't helping them, right?
It's not helping.
It's just the whole package there. I like Cleveland.
I think ETN has a tough time here finding space. Cleveland defense is good, and they don't have to account for the pass as much when Beathard is the QB. There's a lot of reasons why I agree with you. I like Cleveland. I might take a money line here just like to get cute, because that's how I do it. But I just might get a little cute with the money line. That's all. I'm not sure yet. I don't know if I love laying the 3 because I think this game is super low scoring, but right now it's 3 on MGM. I think it's 3.5 on other sites. So if you want to grab it right now, maybe minus 120 on MGM.
You get 3. You got to lay a little juice on FanDuel at minus 115 and take the 3.
Yeah. So it sounds like FanDuel is the spot to grab it. I might grab it on FanDuel at 3 and just YOLO it. All right. Next up, John. The Panthers are at the Saints. The Saints are 5.5 point home favorites here. I don't know if Derek Carr is playing or not. Could be hurt. Who cares? But beyond that, Bryce Young sucks. I think he's a bust. I don't think he's going to turn it around. Last week, though, Chuba Hubbard did some goodness. And there's a couple of little pieces on this team that have come through a little bit. Mingo, I think, had 10 targets last week, which is interesting. The total here is set at 37.5. What do you say here? Is there a play on the Saints at home minus 5.5?
Yeah, I like 2 plays in this game. I mean, I like the Saints. I'd lay the points here. I think the Saints. I'd actually feel better maybe with Winston at QB. I think they'll put up more points. So I would like with Carr. Let's put it this way: I like them either way. I'll lay the points here. Either quarterback. Carr at quarterback, I like the under a little bit more. I think there's more potential to score with Jameis, and he's always got the potential to give a short field to the other team. So I really like, but I do think it's gonna wind up being Jameis in there, and I think they cover it either way.
Yeah.
From a fantasy perspective, I think he helps this team. When Jameis came in there, I mean, Kamara looked that much better. Like the whole team looks better.
The team is better with Jameis. I don't understand. They paid Derek Carr a lot of money. Team's better with Jameis. I think the team's better with Taysom Hill at the QB. If it were me, I would have Taysom be the actual QB, or maybe mix it up with Jameis Winston for that different flavor look during the course of the game. Little different flavors, a little chocolate and vanilla.
I was going to say a little chocolate vanilla, a little swirl.
You got a swirl. You get the swirl going.
Yeah.
That's better. The swirl is always better.
Swirl's good. Yeah, you get the best of both worlds.
You get it. Yeah, you want the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like Jameis better than Derek Carr for sure if he were to play. But again, I like Taysom Hill. I'm a big Taysom Hill guy. As far as DFS angles, there aren't too many here. I don't think to really get crazy with. The Saints side, I think it's a good game for Kamara. I think it's a great setup for Kamara, and it could be a good game for him. He's a little overpriced in DFS. It's difficult to play him, but it's certainly a good spot for Alvin here. And Olave is always a stud, et cetera, et cetera. Chris, Chuba Hubbard. Bobby Wow gave out the Chuba Hubbard play on Tournament Tactics last week, and I was like unfriending him. I was throwing up stuff on the screen. It's like, come on, man. I can't click that button. Chuba Hubbard, you needed him to win the tournament. I don't think he does it again. But you did need Chuba Hubbard 25 points last week at 5K when so many of the running backs disappointed. So, again, kudos to Bobby Wow on that call. That was amazing. All right. Next up, John. Texans at the Jets. Jets are home, 4-point underdogs. And the total is set at a brutal 33 points for this one. So, CJ Stroud's been the darling of DFS, the darling of fantasy. Nico Collins went crazy. You got Noah Brown on the team now with Tank Dell out, and you got the tight end in there, Brevin Jordan doing things for cheap. But now they're going up against the Jets in a 33-pointer. That's not a place where fantasy points go to grow and prosper. What do you think?
Yeah, fantasy wise, avoid the game. Betting wise, I do like the Jets. I'll take the points here. I think the Jets are going to give them a problem. The public's going to like Houston in this game. This line has come down. I like the Jets. I think the Jets win this game. This is my Arizona of last week.
Really?
I think the Jets on the money line. Jets win the game outright. So that's my play on this one. I mean, Houston's just going a little. Houston's they're gonna see some regression here. I love what they've done. Outside of the fact that maybe they cost a 150-pound wide receiver his season on one of the dumbest goal line calls about why he was even in there is beyond me, and how he's in the middle of the pack. And as you know, I've got him in that expert league.
Yeah, you're so screwed now.
And they go and blow it for me.
You needed him.
I mean, just what is he doing? Is he going to block some linebacker to help you score the touchdown? No. Get him off the field. If he's going to be on the field, just let him hang out by the sideline and be a decoy.
Put him where he belongs. Don't put the 150-pound man anywhere near the giant monsters on the D line.
No, I mean, there's just too many big bodies in there. We don't need that. So
imagine if you or I were in there running around with those giants. You're 5'7", 5'8", Tank Dell size. And here are these like super giant humans. Like, get away from me, bro. I don't want to be
I've
anywhere
been
near
around.
them.
I've been around. I mean, I'm sure you've been up close and personal with some of these guys, and
Oh yeah.
it's into. I was in an elevator with Myles Garrett last summer
Oh no.
in Vegas, and I'm standing. It was just me, him, and his girlfriend, and I'm just looking at him, going, "This guy runs like a 4.5 40, and he's as big as he is standing next to me." Like the thought of that guy getting a full head of steam and then hitting me is I'd never get up again.
How hot was
So,
his girlfriend?
yeah, she wasn't bad. She wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always
Yeah.
enjoy that part of it. It's always like some smoking hot Instagram model standing
Always.
next to the player, and you're like, oh, okay, that's appropriate.
Listen, he earned it. You're one
Yeah,
of the
that's what I think.
most
That's
elite
exactly what I'm
athletes in
thinking.
the world.
I go,
You
you know
earned
what? If I had gotten to the level of being Myles Garrett, then I would feel very deserving of an Instagram model on my arm.
Yeah, that's why when you look at Patrick Mahomes, you're like, and he's married to that.
No. We're not going there.
You can't. I don't get it.
I'm not going there.
I'm going there. I don't get it at all, man.
Oh my God.
And I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. I see the two of them sitting next to each other, and she makes Taylor Swift look like a supermodel. So
I love Taylor Swift.
Oh,
no. So wholesome. So
oh
wholesome.
yeah.
She's a wholesome girl. All right. Texans at the Jets. DFS angles. There are no DFS angles to be had in this game. There is not a single player that I'm interested in. Actually, no, there is. I'm sorry. Let me back it up. Zach Milfson is back at the helm for the Jets, which brings Garrett Wilson at mid 5K price point into relevance, because pretty much when for most games, Garrett Wilson is getting double-digit targets. And if I could buy double-digit targets for 5,500 on DraftKings, even though it's the Jets, I think that's a worthwhile purchase in terms of volume, wide receiver volume for, against the price. So I think that Garrett Wilson is actually playable, as crazy as that is, with Zach Milfson at the helm for the Jets. I don't really want to go there with Nico Collins against Sauce Gardner, although matchups don't matter that much, John. They don't matter that much. He could still get it done. Yeah, that's it for that one, though. Let's talk. Next up, we've got the Rams taking on the Ravens. The Ravens are 7-point home favorites. Best defense in the league. Maybe. Who's better? Ravens or Browns right now?
No,
and is San Francisco in that discussion?
San Francisco's. I would not put San Francisco in there. I think it is Baltimore right now. Really, because you have to piece it all together. When you have an offense that scores, it makes your defense worse.
Yeah.
So they've got the best mix now. One key stat that I look at, I haven't looked at it this week. I don't think it's changed. It's probably gotten better for them. One stat that I look at, and it's really good predeterminant for success as far as winning a Super Bowl. That's passer rating differential. So you're looking at your team passer rating offensively versus defense. San Francisco is by far the best right now, and Dallas was number 2, and I believe Baltimore was 3. So those are like the 3. That's one of the, like, Philly's now probably negative in that category. Another knock on Philly not winning a Super Bowl this year. So, that's why I felt very good about San Francisco smacking them up this year. But I think Baltimore, I would put, they're probably the best defense in the league. I think all, from
metrics wise, they have been. Yeah, metrics wise, they have been. Listen, it's still a small sample size of only for 13 games. And as crazy as that sounds, that's not like an end all be all sample size.
The NFL season is a small sample size. That's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
When you're looking at DFS, and you're like, oh, I haven't won, I've lost every week, or I've only won one week in this year. Like, if you're playing NBA, that's only a couple of weeks, like not even 2 weeks of NBA play.
It's easy to go on.
The NFL is, you got to get lucky.
It's easy to go on a multi-week bad streak in NBA. I have some NBA DFS questions for you, but I don't know. I'm not going to save that for another discussion, so I don't want to get into that. But talking about this game, 40-point total on it. Rams on the road, they were less good on the road than they're at home, but Rams are pretty fully healthy for this game. Puka should be probably in there. Cooper Kupp is in there. Matt Stafford's fine. Everybody's there. All teams are healthy for the most part. I'm I'm not seeing a ton of DFS angles that I'm really dying to target here. The few that I've come up with, Isaiah Likely looks interesting, and maybe, Zay Flowers is always kind of mildly interesting. On the Rams side, I think you have to account for Kyron Williams every week. If any running back who's getting like 90% of the touches is somebody that needs to be accounted for. But it's 40 point total. Is this one popping for you at all? Is Lamar Jackson somebody that you're trying to get into your mix this week?
I think Lamar's probably the best option of the high price quarterbacks. I'll say that.
Really?
Yeah,
I think my highest guys. I'll say that right off the bat.
What's that?
Josh Allen is the best option.
No. Yeah,
so, it's going to be Allen. It's going to be Allen.
Allen's been good.
Could we pizza bet? A little pizza bet? I think Allen outscores Lamar Jackson. You want to do a little something? Same price.
Well, give me odds. I'll take Brock Purdy to be the highest scoring quarterback on the slate.
What is with? I got to go with odds now, and I got to think about this.
I'm taking
what odds do you need
Brock
for that?
Purdy priced.
What Brock odds Purdy's, do you need for this?
Brock Purdy's
what
like
odds?
6,800.
So what odds do you want?
Well, I'm just saying, what's the projection? If I take Brock Purdy against Josh Allen every week, who are you going to take? Are you going to take Josh Allen? I should get
I'm taking Josh Allen against Brock Purdy. I will take Josh Allen straight up against Brock Purdy if you want to do it at +100. Oh, wait. You're saying, so you see, this is the thing with John. Now, I think he's like, give me odds, but he's not. You're not going to accept like show odds. You're going to accept like, well, if you went onto the sports book and you took it, so you want like +500 odds or some insane number.
Well, I don't want +500, but yeah, I would want plus money on the bet. Yeah,
I'll give you +150.
I'll take +150. Purdy beats Josh Allen this week.
Not the whole league, just Josh Allen.
Yeah, heads up. Yeah, heads up.
But what can I get on odds that Purdy is the highest scorer on the slate?
Oh, I mean, now you're talking. Those are big odds. I'll take a shot on that too.
About. This is what I'm talking about. Of course,
come on.
This is what. Hang on. Let me look at the domination station here. I don't just make bets. I make informed decisions.
Well, think about it this way. What's his ownership going to be?
Let's see. Hold on. I don't have ownership yet, so
we don't have that yet. It's a little
early. It's too early in the week. But Josh Allen, we've got projected for 21.5. You're right. Lamar Jackson is projected higher than. Yeah. This is early shit. I don't buy it.
Lamar's the best high price guy this week. There's no doubt.
I don't buy it.
He's better than. Kansas City is not giving up anything to quarterbacks. And Mahomes hasn't done anything all year. So if you give me those three guys, give me Lamar. I'll just take Lamar. I'll give you Lamar against Josh Allen straight up, even money.
You have to give me odds. Lamar's projecting higher than Josh.
Why?
Allen.
Because DFS Army agrees with me?
Yeah.
What kind of odds? It's a half a point.
I want +125.
125. Guys giving me 150 for Purdy.
You wanted Purdy. Purdy's got the 100.
I want Purdy at a plus money.
I'll give you Purdy.
18, that's 10% less. He's 10%. He's projected 10% less than Allen.
I will give you Purdy against Josh Allen. I will give you +125.
No, I want a little bit more. If I'll take +125 if I get Lamar at +105.
All right. You want Lamar at +105 plus money against Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I'm accepting it. $100.
Okay, you got both of those bets.
And the second bet, wait, I feel like I'm too levered to Josh Allen right now.
Well, so am I. I'm on the other side of a Josh Allen bet.
Yeah, I feel very levered to it. But fine. I will do Lamar Jackson against Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson at +105 against Josh Allen. And then +105. And then what did we say for Purdy? +125?
125.
Okay. +125. Purdy versus Allen. Guys, if you're watching this, pick a side. Let us know in the comments. Who are you with? Are you with John or are you with the geek?
Just be known that I've never beat you in any of these. So it's coming. Just let everyone know. I never win.
Whose side are you on? That's all I want to know from the audience. Pick a side. And then I will judge you based on if you chose against me. I will not like you. But I
do like the Rams as a bet, though.
What's that?
I do like the Rams a little bit as a bet. It's kind of a fade the public, but public's all over Baltimore. Not that I love the bet, but I don't mind it. I don't mind taking the points here.
I'm definitely not. I'm not laying 7. Yeah, I'm not laying 7. Period.
I like the over.
Not in this game.
We just talked about how great the defense is, but I kind of think this game goes. I think it goes over the 40.
Yeah, I can see that. Listen, if you're winning your if you're winning your Lamar Jackson outscores Josh Allen bet, then this game is probably playing to the over. So I'm not going to allow same game parlays on the Kevin Sportsbook. We don't allow those here, especially not with advantaged bettors. That's just a way to lose a lot of money if you're the sports book. So I'm definitely not doing that. Let us know, guys. Are you on team Statsational? Or are you on Team Geek? I'm on the Josh Allen train. Which way are you going with it? Let us know. Pick a side. All right. Let's move on. We didn't talk DFS pieces from this game. Again, I feel like I did talk DFS pieces. Yes, I did. So let's move on. Vikings at the Raiders. The Vikings are 3-point road favorites. This one has a 40.5-point total. And John, is there a bet here? Josh Dobbs going up against AOC?
Yeah, this one. I mean, the sharp money is on Minnesota. I would kind of lean that way as well. Tough to, road favorite Minnesota, but under the field goal, I just think it's just a much better team. You got Jefferson coming back. I would lean that way. I like I like Minnesota to laying the points here, but don't have a ton of confidence in that one. It would be more of a play where I'm just kind of going to jump and tail the sharp money. But yeah, other than that, I'm looking at the total. This is another total that I think so. I think we see a bunch of these games go a little bit over this week. So I think this is another total that we could get over the 40. So I kind of like Minnesota over. That would be my parlay on this game.
Let me ask you this. Dobbs at almost 6K. Has it gotten out of control? Is it too much? Are we to the point where enough is take it easy? Slow down. Take it easy, guys. This is still Josh Dobbs. We're not talking about Josh Allen here. It's a different Josh. When he was 5K and it was like he was shocking us with a 23-pointer, we were all excited. When you're 6K, you need a 30-pointer to excite me. Is it too much?
I think it's a little too high. But the matchup's not terrible. He can get there.
Yeah, it's good on paper. Justin Jefferson returning, that's good. And they have weapons galore in Minnesota. Hawkinson. There's so many weapons there. I think there's too many weapons. I don't think you could pick one and be right enough. Like, is Hawkinson really going to go bananas on the Justin Jefferson return game? Maybe. And if Justin Jefferson is back, is Addison really a viable guy? And what about these running backs? So there's a lot of weapons on Vikings. Probably too many weapons for me to figure out a good DFS stack with Dobbs. I'm having a hard time with it. I can't really why wouldn't he throw to Addison? Why is he throwing to Jefferson? What about Hawkinson? There's too many names, too many studs. The studs are too many. It's an Irish accent. The studs are too many. Is it more Scottish?
It's more Scottish, yeah.
Yeah. It's from Braveheart. So yes, that's right. Actually, it's Scottish. Yeah. But it was the Irish guy in Braveheart. And it was the English are too many.
Yeah.
And then Braveheart comes out and he's like, shut up, I'm gonna kill those motherfuckers. Oh, and then the Irish guy comes out and he starts screaming some shit. And then they go on a killing spree. I love Braveheart. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It is one of the best ever.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites of all time. I don't, love it. Love that movie. Fucking William Wallace.
I like that you could look past and forgive.
I had this whole, in these times that we're living in, I had this whole conversation with somebody. Literally, I can't believe you just brought that up. But in these times that we're living through, and I'm like, you know what? I'll take Mel Gibson's weird reasons for being a Jew hater a lot more than whatever else is going on out there right now. I'll take that over, what's going on in with the young people and their craziness. And they're, at least Mel Gibson had some weird religious reason for his shit. I don't know what it was, but at least Mel Gibson makes awesome movies. At least you make awesome movies. I'll accept it. If you make another Braveheart, have you seen Lethal Weapon? That movie was awesome.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah. That dude has a lot of great movies. Mad Max. I'm not gonna shut that off. What have these knuckleheads that are protesting in the streets ever done that was interesting? Except just be annoying. Like, no.
Create something.
Yeah, man.
Stop destroying things and create
breaking
something.
shit and whinging about having a life that's too good that you feel guilty about it. Like, oh, my life is so great. I'm gonna. Those people need to be in a war, okay, and that'll straighten them out. Fake oppression. Anyway, where were we? Rams at the Ravens. Vikings at the Raiders. That's what we're talking about. DFS Raiders side also. I think Josh Jacobs is playable. I like how we just transitioned from Mel Gibson being, issues and this and modern times and protests to, I think Josh Jacobs is a really good play in this one. But I do. Josh Jacobs coming off of tons of volume last week, and he's doing it with I think 20 carries, multiple receptions. Can you play Devontae Adams tied to AOC? He's in the 7s.
I don't love it.
He's in the 7s. No?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. It's tough to swallow. There are other good plays to pay up for. I think it's acceptable. Also, Jacoby Myers is another one that he's on the fringe of playable. He's in the mid 5s. Got a lot of targets last week. Got a lot of action last week, although I do think it was kind of like a fluky. I watched that game, and I don't know that that's going to be repeated. So it's really hard to find a lot of pieces to get excited about. I think the Vikings running game is completely untouchable. Between the two guys, you just can't trust any of it. So, that's about it for that one. Let's talk about this game that you've been excited for. Seattle at the 49ers. 49ers are 10.5 point home favorites. Totals 46.5. One of the higher totals on the slate. Second highest. So my question for you is, number one, you mentioned Purdy before. Do you like the 49ers to cover 10.5?
I don't necessarily love the spread on this game. Usually I'd lean towards the dog on these double-digit lines. I think San Francisco's got the ability to just blow them out. I know they're coming off a big win, so that's another thing that kind of scares me. Maybe you have a little bit of a letdown off that win, but this is a divisional game. They've got home field advantage in their sights. They know if Dallas can beat Philly, and that puts them in the driver's seat. So I think they'll be playing this game pretty hard. Everybody likes to beat Pete Carroll in that division. So I like Pete, but I'm sure he rubs a few of these guys the wrong way. I think the over is where the play is. I think there's going to be some points scored in this game. As you know, I love Purdy this week. I think he's one of the better quarterback plays for the week. So I like this game to the over, even at the 47. And this is one of those, I think you do the old pizza bet alt line, take the over all the way up to 60 points.
Wow. That is interesting. That's not how I was kind of foreseeing it, but I mean, that's pretty good. Seattle did play this game out 2 weeks ago, and the 49ers absolutely destroyed them. They destroyed them to the point where Purdy didn't need to do much. If you recall, it was all running back. I think Christian McCaffrey had an incredible game. Purdy didn't do much in that game at all. He only scored 12 fantasy points. Christian McCaffrey, I believe, had a smash game against Seattle, 33.9. So really good game for McCaffrey, and I think that happens again here. I think a lot of what you're talking about comes down to, can Seattle play them tough? Can Seattle play them and score? Can Seattle do kind of what they did last week and just find miracles, rejuvenate DK Metcalf and all of that? So that's really what it's going to come down to for me. Seattle's running back situation is really bleak. It looks like Charbonnet is hurt, and I don't know that Kenny Walker's back yet. Even if it is, this is not like you don't want to be running against San Francisco. You got to throw the football. So I think just Seattle needs to make a game of it. I would certainly lean, if I was teasing this game, towards teasing it down, not up. So I'd be looking to move that line to 3 rather than trying to, get a plus 12 or a plus 17 on Seattle. I think Seattle is definitely live to get completely blown out here, but they can keep it close enough that I think even with the San Francisco win, they keep it close. If I'm doing that over bet, I think you want to also bet Seattle. I don't see how it goes and plays to the over, like you just said, especially not the alt line over, without Seattle making a serious game of it and putting up some numbers. Kind of maybe taking advantage of a 49ers defense that's exhaling after last week's big win. Maybe that's kind of how I would see that. If it's going to work, that's how I see it working. As far as pieces from this game, I think the best piece is Christian McCaffrey if you can afford him. I'm not as on board with Purdy as you are, and now that I've bet against him, I don't want to root for it because I'm trying to win that $100. I'm trying to get my $100 bills, but I'm not as high about Purdy. I need you to convince me a little bit, John, because I think that this is a game where 49ers should just lean on the run. Why do you think it goes different?
No, I think they could lean on the run. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, with CMC, they could dominate the game with him, but I think he's going to get. I think he'll get plenty of action in the game. I mean, you look at the prior game that they played against Seattle. It was actually one of his worst games. Purdy, the prior game against Seattle. So I could see the case being made where they just kind of rely on the run, but he's had too many good games. I think for the price, I don't know, maybe they're sucking me in. I think I'm just looking at more from a DFS standpoint, and looking at the price in this game that I think for the price in that situation, I think a lot of people are going to be off of it because, 10-point spread. I think the potential's there where they could just really ring up a bunch of points in this game. And he throws for 3 touchdowns in this game, which is certainly possible. Even if he's throwing them to CMAC, I just think the potential is there. I think he's got a high ceiling. Let's just put it that way. In this game.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I legitimately want to know because I'm searching for the non-Josh Allen spot all week long. I'm just searching for it. Where can I go? And there's a few spots here I think that we've identified that could really work. But speaking of Josh Allen, the big game of the week, the one that stands out above all the others, and yes, these can disappoint, and this probably has a higher disappoint potential than some of the other ones do because Chiefs have been disappointing all year. But we've got the Bills at the Chiefs, 48.5 point total. Chiefs 1.5 point home favorites, 2 elite teams, 2 potential Super Bowl teams. Boner alert. That's right. That's the game. If it goes a certain way, John, and I acknowledge that there is a pathway where it is halftime on this one, and you're like, how is it 9-3 at halftime? How is this happening when Mahomes is up against Josh Allen? That is within the realm of shit that could happen. But the other shit that could happen is scoring, answering, and scoring some more. Whenever you have 2 great offenses on the field that both know that the other team's going to be scoring, there's a lot of pressure on these teams. Bills, 6-6, must-win situation for the Bills. They might not make the playoffs. So the Bills need to win these games to ensure their spot. They're already looking like they're not going to, it looks like Miami's going to take the AFC, which means the Bills absolutely need these wins just to hold on to wild card positioning and not be in a horrible situation. They're a team with Super Bowl aspirations. So I just think they're going to be going all out to ball out. I'm worried about Kansas City and can they keep up? But is there a bet in this one? Either side? I have a side.
Buffalo's the bet.
I like the Bills. Yeah.
Buffalo's the bet here. I think, and Kansas City team is disappointing. I mean, I've seen it. So obviously Buffalo's been disappointing as well, but I think when you look at it, like it kind of surprises me that the line is this low, which is enticing me to bet Buffalo even more here. This one, it kind of gives you the feel like Dallas Philly, like it should be a 3-point line, right? And it's sub 3, it's 2, 1.5.
Just picking a winner at this point. Like at 1.5, you get a little plus money on Bills if you want to just
you can just take them on them. Yeah, you can just take the money line. I would actually lean towards the under. This game does not excite me nearly as much. Like Mahomes has not been. No, Mahomes hasn't had that game all year, and I think a lot of that has to do with his wide receiving core. I think if you're looking at it from a DFS standpoint, Kelsey has not been good over the last 4 or 5 games. If he was going to bounce back, this is going to be the spot. They looked terrible last week. I think Mahomes just says, you know what? I got one guy I can rely on, and he's getting peppered with 20 targets this game. So I think you could see that So I do like Kelly, and I do like Pacheco a bit, but I'm not a big fan of Mahomes. I don't like the high price. And as we talked about earlier, I don't like anyone going up against this Chiefs defense. The Chiefs have been making quarterbacks look terrible all season long. I don't like playing Allen in this spot. I think the game stays lower scoring than we think. I like the under. I like Buffalo.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, the Chiefs defense has been good. There's no doubt about it. There's no disputing it. But I think Josh Allen is better than a good defense is. So I just think he gets past it. I think he's that good, and he'll just, yeah, it's a good defense, but he's Josh Allen, and he's still going to do his thing. So that's my reasoning with Allen. It's really just like, yeah, Chiefs defense is good, but they're not that good. They're not that good. Like, they're good, but they ain't that good. So, yeah, give me Josh Allen. I love that you took the Bills here. I like the Bills. I think you take them on the money line. Just take the plus 105. Don't worry about the plus 1.5. Or you move it to plus 3.5 and really lock yourself into a W as long as it's a close game. So, I think there's a merit to both sides of that. If I'm doing a safety teaser, I will be teasing up I will have a safety teaser on this, but I think you take it straight up. But in my safety teaser, I will tease the Bills up. By the way, last week's safety teaser plus 700. It was I took Eagles plus 9.5 as part of it, and that was the fail. It's brutal. I hit every other bet of the weekend though. It was, thank goodness, because I fucking lost half my money in DFS, and I got it all back on the sports book. All the bets given out in the Sharp app Discord in my channel. I don't put my channel like, I don't consider, it's like I just share what I'm doing. I don't, tail me or not, I don't care. But it was a really good one last week. But yes, I like the Bill side here. As far as players within this game, on the Bills, K-Shack, all of them, everybody's in play. Diggs, K-Shack. Last week we loved Gabriel Davis. He came through in a big way. I don't think that it's a Gabriel Davis week again, but he'll be in my mix only and exclusively in stacks with Josh Allen. On the Chiefs side, you named him. Kelsey. If you're playing Mahomes, you want to try to get Kelsey in there with him. That's your ultimate stack. And then Rashee Rice has looked good. 10 targets and 9 targets of the last 2 weeks. You give me anybody getting 10 and 9 targets on the Chiefs for 5K. I think that's a fair price point on DraftKings for that. And Pacheco getting all the touches with McKinney out. So Jerick McKinnon out. So pieces galore on this game to target. I'm sure there will be some secondary randos on the Chiefs that go off, but I never like to guess who that's going to be. It could be Justin Watson or some of these other names like Sky Moore. I'm not going to guess that deep. I think it's too sketchy to guess to that level. And I don't really need running backs from the Bills. Although, again, James Cook, fine. I don't hate him. I don't hate it. Again, top game of the week in terms of the total. But John Statsational Lessie is warning us that there is definitely some kind of disappointment potential here. And that probably, like, unlike 2 weeks ago when the Bills, who the hell did the Bills play 2 weeks ago? Was it who'd they play 2 weeks ago? Was the Bills 49ers 2 weeks ago?
Was that the game? I can't remember now.
I can't even remember, but like I was like, oh my God, go all in on this game. You don't have to worry about it disappointing. I think it was Bills 49ers. And we just went all in on Josh Allen that week. I think in this case, I'll still have a lot of Josh Allen, but you've sort of talked me off of going all in on him.
I think it's risky. He's been very good. I mean, no doubt about it. But
I just think he gets it done no matter what. Yeah,
it's tough against Kansas City's defense.
That's true. That's fair. All right. Last game of the main slate. The Broncos taking on the Chargers. Chargers are 5-7. There are 3-point home favorites in this one. The game carries a 44-point total. So, John, let's talk betting angles here. Chargers 3-point home favorites. Seems appropriate.
Yeah, I would say it's probably an appropriate line. I am just not a fan of I'm not a fan of this Charger team. Denver should have won that game last week. Just come up short. The Chargers go play, obviously a terrible offensive game, but they hold an inept Patriot team to 0. You saw that stat The Patriots lost 3 straight games while giving up 10 or fewer points, first time since 1938. I mean,
that game was so ugly.
It's insane. I like Denver plus the points here. I'm going to take the points. Give me Denver. I still think Denver's going to the playoffs. I think this is a different Denver team now over the last 5-6 weeks than we saw earlier in the year. That's why I'm not high on the pieces from the Chargers. This Denver defense, it's like a different team, different defense. I do like the pieces on the Denver side, though, from a fantasy standpoint. I like the running back here. I think Williams is in a really good spot. So, yeah, from a DFS standpoint, I don't mind the game, especially on the Denver side, but I do like Denver plus the points, and not getting a real good feel on the total. If anything, I like this total to the under.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, a Chargers team that couldn't score last week at all. The problem with the Chargers right now is they're very one-dimensional on offense. It's Keenan Allen and like nothing else. Nothing else. No one else can catch a pass, and so you could kind of focus in on Keenan on the Chargers, and then Austin Eckler's good, but he just had not been that good so far this year. I know it's coming. Maybe this is the week. But it hasn't happened so far this year. So it's really just an interesting team, the Chargers. Quentin Johnston pops a little bit for me in my model this week in a game where I don't know who Pat Surtain Jr. is going to be covering. One might assume it would be Keenan Allen, but it might be Quentin Johnston, which would ruin that. I think Quentin Johnston can't get open, so you don't want him against a good corner. What about Javonte Williams, John? What's up with that guy? Why is he
I think I mentioned –
Yeah,
I mentioned Javonte. I think it's a really good spot for Williams this week.
Does he finally come through and give us a tournament-worthy performance? Yeah,
I think we could see it. I think we could see that this week.
Yeah,
even in that bad game, I mean, Ramondre was playing well last week.
Ramondre started well. I had a core play on Ramondre.
Yeah.
So you know how my week went.
Yeah.
That didn't help. Yeah, I had him in every handcraft had Ramondre in it as like my first button push. Not good. We're going to make up for it this week, though. Yeah, I like Javonte here. I'm ready to go back to it. Even the pain, it hurts. Last week, he did, great matchup, didn't come through. Going right back to it. Got to go right back to it. At some point, he's going to come through. So I like your call here. I didn't have a play on this game, but yeah, I think if you're playing it, I would be on the Broncos side as well. I think you take the points. If it was Chargers +3, I'd take the Chargers. Then you take the points here. And maybe this might make its way into the safety parlay. The safety teaser parlay. Safety teaser parlay. Which I will give out later on this week in my channel in the Sharp App Discord. Remember, guys, if you are not signed up at Sharp App, you bet on sports at all, you're in a sportsbook betting state or not, and you bet on some overseas book. We don't care. We don't discriminate. I recommend getting signed up for Sharp App. It's a Discord. It's betting tools. It's the Sharp Report where you actually find out who the sharp bettors are on, inside information that no one else has. So it really is a great suite of tools for anybody. Promo code DFSA20 gets you 20% off your subscription to Sharp App. Sharp.app is the website. Sharp App is the app. You can download it, grab it, download it, and leave a nice review if you can as well. We appreciate those positive reviews if you can get them. And John, any final thoughts on the slate?
I think we've said it all.
Yeah. Some controversial things. For those of you in Philadelphia, you want to hit up John directly on Twitter at Statsational.
Bring it on. I'll be tweeting. I'll tweet at you all game long Sunday night.
At Statsational. Direct them to John, if you will, and let us know whose side are you on. Purdy, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Who is taking home the $200 bills, basically? Who's taking home those $100 bills? I say me. So let us know in the comment section below. And good luck in the bets this week, guys. We will be back throughout the week here on the channel, of course, for the tournament tactics, all the different shows. And we've got some prop shows in the works as well. So stay tuned for those. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get signed up at Sharp App. We'll see you guys next time.